All right. Hi, everyone. Thanks for joining us for our December foster parent info session. Tonight, we are joined by Jeremy and Susanna Yoder, newly licensed Pathway foster parents. So thanks for joining us, guys. And we also have a special incentive for those watching tonight. So you all could be entered to win a $25 gift card by answering, when does pre-service start in 2021? And I'll give you the answer right now. It is January 14th. So log on in the comments, type it in, and you'll be entered into a drawing. And you have until 8 o'clock tonight to post in the comments. And we're also joined by Patricia Lott, our recruitment director. And so wrapping up 2020, what a year.
What a year, everybody, right? I'm ready for 2021. I am.
So we'll kick things off right away. So Jeremy and Susanna, how can you just introduce yourselves and just talk a little bit about how long you've been foster parents with Pathway?
Okay, well, we're, like she said, Jeremy and Susanna Yoder. We have 4 children plus a foster baby that joined our home in August. We were licensed in June. And so we, and the baby that we have now is our first placement.
So what was training like all online?
Well, it was really nice because we didn't have to get babysitters for the kids. I know that's often hard for parents to do, and it would have been pretty difficult for us, but we would have made it work. But it was really nice because we could just do it all at home, and our kids got to watch lots of movies while we were doing training. But yeah, that was nice. The one thing that we thought was maybe kind of a drawback was that we weren't able to interact with the other foster parent or other people that were getting trained. And that would have been fun to be able to get to know them a little bit and kind of, support each other in our journeys. But overall, we had, we were really glad that we were able to do it online.
Yes. And did you still feel just as prepared going through the trainings with our training manager, Eric Stuckey?
Yeah, I think so. We did, so they were typically like a 3-hour session that we would do on Zoom, and then we would have like a questionnaire that we would have to fill out, just kind of making, explaining that we did listen in and that we understood the content. So yeah, I thought it was really good. I felt like it did a really good job of preparing us and helping us know kind of what we were headed into.
Yeah. And so once again, post in the comments, the answer is the next pre-service starts on January 14th. And once again, these are all online. So 3-hour trainings here throughout the week. There are a couple in the morning, mid-afternoon, and evening, couple weekends. And now we have different trainers who are all up and running. So it's about, Pat, correct me if I'm wrong, it's about a 6-week.
There's 12 sessions, 2 a week. So yeah, it's about 6 to 7 weeks when you add sometimes one extra in there. Mm-hmm.
So
yep. 3-hour sessions, like you said. Yeah.
Did you all feel it went pretty quickly?
Yeah, I mean, it's a lot of time, of course it is, but it was good. I mean, it was good, solid content. And so, yeah, it did. And definitely, I mean, we were able to do it much more quickly because it was online. Mm-hmm. So had we done in-person classes, it would have taken, well, not just travel time, but also I think it would have been spread out a bit more. So yeah, it was amazing how quickly we were able to get through it.
I think the content was such too that it spurred us on to be doing the other things that we had to do for our home study to get licensed. So it was just exciting as we would go through each session to be like thinking about how this is going to work in our family and who is the child or children that are going to be placed in our home. And I felt like through the whole training session, that was what was on my mind. And so it was exciting, you know, to be going through that content and thinking about what is going to be happening after we get through that training.
Which is great. And so going off of that, can you tell us a little bit about how your family has adjusted, how your kids, if they've enjoyed being foster siblings?
Yeah, our kids love it. We've had other kids in and out of our home a bit, not through fostering, but yeah, through other programs. And so our kids know a little bit of what to expect as far as kids coming in and out of our home. But we got a newborn baby from the NICU, and who doesn't love a newborn baby? You know, like she fit so well into our family, and our kids were just enamored from the time they even heard about her. So yeah, the kids have absolutely embraced it. We have not had, I mean, obviously this is our first placement, so we haven't had gone through the whole thing of a child reuniting with birth parents yet, or with the birth family. We haven't had a child move from our home. So obviously that's going to be a whole nother hurdle that we will be facing. But we try to just talk about it with our kids, you know, that we're giving this child a safe place to stay for now until she can go home and be with her family again. We try to talk about it just as this is part of our life now, but I know that it's still going to be difficult when it happens. But yeah, I would say for me and Jeremy, our youngest child is 4.5. So kind of going back into that newborn stage again was an adjustment. We're still getting up middle of the night and all of that, but we knew that when we went into it, obviously. But I would say it doesn't at all feel like an imposition to us. It is just, she just blends right into our family. It doesn't feel like we have a stranger in the home or someone that isn't part of our family. She does everything our family does. She goes with us places, you know, it's just like adding one more new family member.
Which is a great, wonderful situation perspective to have. Yeah. So if we'll backtrack a little bit, so what inspired you to become foster parents? And you spoke a little bit about the child going back to their biological family, which is something we don't always touch on, but reunification is more often than not the goal, but it's certainly difficult for any foster family. And attachment and love and care is what every child deserves. And we hear that time and time again of, oh, I couldn't be a foster parent because I would get so attached. I would love the child too much, but that's what they need. So going off of that, can you just tell us a little bit about what inspired you to be foster parents?
Do you want me to take this one?
Yeah, go ahead.
So before Jeremy and I were even married, we both knew that we had a heart for kids who need homes. And we had 3 biological children of our, in the first 8 years that we were, or 6 years that, sorry, I'm not making sense. We had 6, I can't talk. We had 3 biological children in about 6.5 years time. And then 4 years later, we adopted through a private adoption. We adopted a little girl, and she's now 4.5. And we knew after that we wanted to still continue in some way giving kids a family or a home to be in, you know, when they need that. We had a couple kids from Ukraine that were orphans that were in our home over summer holidays or over Christmas holidays, and that was a good experience. It was a huge challenge as well, They were a little bit older kids. And then we were actually pursuing adopting from Ukraine, and just kind of through a whole series of circumstances, it felt like the doors were just open wide for us to start fostering. And that was not the route we were planning to go. But it just made so much sense with everything that happened. And so we were like, let's do it. We had considered it before, but we just kind of felt like at the stage our family was at, it wouldn't have been a really good timing. But this time it just felt right. And yeah, we got licensed like really fast, like everything just fell into place. The online classes were amazing because we were able to do it quickly. And because we had gone through an adoption before, we kind of knew what to expect with the home study. And so that all kind of went through pretty quickly. And we knew that this is something that we can do together as a family. It's not just me doing it or Jeremy doing it. It's something that all of us, the kids, are involved in it with us. We were all on board with it. And yeah, it has felt very right.
Which is great. Wonderful. So, do you have any advice for anyone looking to become pathway foster parents?
I mean, go for it. So it was interesting. You said, that it's sometimes easy to say, I could never do that because I couldn't see the child leave. And I think that was us. I mean, we said that. That was one reason we had for not fostering sooner, was we're not sure we can do that. But it was interesting. Through our adoption and positive interactions with birth family, and even in fostering positive interactions with birth family, I think we've come. It's going to be extremely difficult when she leaves. Of course it is. But I think that we feel much more. It's exactly what you said. The ability to give love and to create attachment and all of that is only. I mean, that's exactly what we signed up for. That's what we're doing, and it'll be hard when she leaves. But that shouldn't stop us from doing it. So yeah, I guess my advice is, you can't expect it to be all easy. Of course it's not. Nothing about this is easy. It's not the way it's supposed to be. These children are supposed to be with families. And so, yeah, don't worry about how hard it's going to be. Take it one day at a time, and it'll be good.
Which is perfect advice. So, well, we'll start wrapping things up, but Jeremy or Susanna, do you have anything else you'd like to add? I mean, that was a great way to wrap things up, but anything else?
I would say if you are considering being foster parents or becoming licensed, don't overthink it. And like, if you feel a calling or you feel your heart drawn in that direction, and maybe you feel like it's not the perfect time, see what you can do to start moving in that direction. Maybe you could start taking some pre-service training and take it a little bit slower, or maybe you could do your pre-service training and provide respite for families who are in foster care. We actually had just one short respite case that we had. Actually, we had the kids here when we got the call about our current placement. So that was a little bit hairy, like juggling everything and going from doing respite into having a placement. But I think that's a good way to kind of get dip your toes in the water and kind of see what it might be like. But we have a desire to see other families getting into this, and we would be very excited about seeing more families do this because there's a need there. And I think as more people do it, I don't know, like you can band together and help each other in it. So I'd say don't overthink it, like just move forward, and the doors will close if you're not supposed to do it.
Thank you. That's wonderful. So So Pat, Susanna mentioned respite care. We are always looking for respite providers. Pat, if you want to touch on that a little bit.
Yeah, every month we need to talk a little bit about respite since it's such a little beautiful sweet spot. I love to talk about it. It's definitely for people that maybe are not totally ready to do 24/7 care of a child in their home, but yet you get and it's almost all of the joys of having the child, because most of our respite kids are excited to go away on respite, and it gives them an opportunity to learn to trust another family. They know they're going away for a couple nights and yet they come back home. It's just another way to reaffirm good, healthy relationships with our children and building more of that trust. So to become a respite provider, you would actually go through the same process to become a licensed home. You would, we would get together, we'd talk a little bit, you'd do the classes, you'd have a home study, and you would become a licensed state of Ohio provider. And then we would call you. You work with the intake manager when you're available to do respite. And it's usually a pretty planful experience. We usually will say it's Friday to Sunday. Occasionally there could be more of an emergency respite situation, but usually it's pretty planful, and you would have the child in your home a couple of nights and get to see a little bit of, what Jeremy and Susanna are talking about, having another child in your home and yet not doing it full time. So I would love to hear from people out there that say they're just too busy right now. Just a lot of times things pop up in our life that it isn't a good time for us, but respite is definitely something where you can definitely not only give back to children in our own community, but also it does get your feet wet to feel what is it like to have this new little person in your home, as well as your other family members too get used to it. So I would love for you to give me a call, 330-818-0444. Love to talk with you to get you into this next class, which is, as we keep talking about, January 14th over Zoom sessions.
And that'll do it for our December foster parent info session. So thank you to Jeremy and Susanna for joining us, and we'll see you in 2021 for our next info session. All right.
Bye-bye.
Thank you.